around the world and across Nigeria. If you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos. Now to our main conversation for this morning. It was the start of a new era in Edo State as Governor Godwin Obaseki bowed out after 8 straight years, and his successor, Monday Okpebholo, was sworn in at an event in Benin on Tuesday. The new governor wasted no time in unveiling a 5-point plan for the state. The areas include security, infrastructure, healthcare, food sufficiency, and education. He emphasized a firm stance against crime, vowing to tackle kidnapping and violence to ensure citizens' safety. His administration would also support small businesses and market women through soft loans while empowering the youth with skill development programs. A panel will investigate the reason behind the failure to inaugurate a 14th House Assembly member-elect in 2019. And additionally, Okpebholo pledged to connect on serve the communities to the national power grid and support Edo's traditional institution. He endorsed the federal government's decision to recognize the Oba of Benin as the sole custodian of Benin artifacts looted during 1897 British invasion. That is our topic for today. Let's have our conversation. Joining us virtually from Abuja, we have High Chief Peter Ame. Good morning, High Chief, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much for your time. And with us in the studio is Barrister Vansufeli, Barrister, Law Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into our conversation for today. I think it's very important. Just before I forget this, news reaching us, of course, says Cyril Adams Oshomole, the son of Adams Oshomole, was, of course, given the position of the Commissioner for Health in Edo State. Gratitude is a must, and if you ask me, that's what has just unveiled itself. But let's get into our main conversation, which is the reason we're here today. Hi, Chief. Speak to us on the transition. Do you think it's good enough to give Obaseki a round of applause for ensuring a smooth transition of office? Let's start from that.
Constitutionally, there's nothing Obaseki could have done to undermine transition. He has a tenure which he has automatically completed, by virtues of time. So for me, I think that the confusion that was coming up of the APC closing up propaganda and saying that Obaseki has run away, Obaseki has done that, was unnecessary. What they needed to do, I think every politician, including those incumbent today, are the one that has left office, must also put the interests of the people of Edo at the center point of whatever discussion they have. So we have a centerpiece of an interaction that's based on the fact that the intention is to work for the people of Edo State. So this transition has come. The 4 years tenure for Monday, the former senator, is already running, and they must avoid politics and go properly into governance, because there are states that are heart of this country that should have benefited from the gateway that they have become to many communities like Edo and Ogun State. And but they have 5 years they're not able to harness this opportunity for being a passageway for many states. So I think you should go into politics immediately, into governance immediately, and avoid the distraction of politics, and avoid the distraction of Muslim, but federalism, and make sure that the concentration is how to serve Edo people. Today, the Edo Central that have not had governors, have participated in governance over a long period of time since for the past 24 years, now have the opportunity to showcase what they can do for Edo State. Despite I don't believe in rotation, I must say this, but I believe in inclusivity. But because if you have free, fair, and credible election, I'm telling you, a lot of politicians will perform. A lot of people come into government and do it because they know there's a tenure renewal period that will come to the second term of election, and the elections will determine how they proceed, whether they get the second term or not. But because of lack of free, fair, and credible electoral processes, that's why we are now come to the issue of seeking and struggling for inclusive democracy through another channel of rotation. So if we must get this right, we must all concentrate on electoral reforms, on getting credible electoral processes in place, so that we don't always come back that why the legal is not in charge, Why the Bureau not in charge? Why ISA is not in charge? Why are the Benin people not in charge? So we shouldn't come back to those ethnic and divisive things, but we should come back to competence, merit, and ability. So these are the things that the governor should concentrate on and take that this chance that has been given to him is for him to write his name in gold. And Obaseki has done his own, whatever record he has. If they are negative, if they are positive, he has already done his own part. And then people will continue to look back with reflection and introspection to see if the tenure they gave to him for 8 years was worth it. But if they are only from one of the the governors that I have huge respect, bad governors that I have huge respect for people like Jackson, they will know that the best option is to carry out landmark project that will stand at the signature of for their record while in office and after they have left office for many years.
Thank you so very much, Barrister Francis Ofeli. I know lots of those in the opposition and pundits would, when they see Okpebholo, they see so many shenanigans that happened prior to elections and all. But looking at the transition that happened between Obaseki and Okpebholo, do you see the same old transition of power, or do you look at something tangible that might happen with Okpebholo?
Well, Okpebholo, with all the criticism whatsoever it is, this is a man that has considerable experience, being that he has been in the House. Okay, he was a lawmaker before now. He's serving lawmaker as we speak. You know, now his seat is going to be vacant for some time before it is filled up by his constituency. So it is presumed that he has considerable experience and he should know what to do for the people of Edo vis-a-vis his manifesto and campaign policy. Okay, it is expected that he should know what to do. It's just that one sometimes fear the nature of the Nigerian politician or Nigerian politics, where sometimes performance is not rated high. But that what is important is that they're able to beat their way through the system and become whatever it is they want to become. If he wants to put himself or write his name in gold, he should perform. That's the most important thing. There's a lot of things. In Edo State, they have a very difficult situation ongoing there. The roads are bad, you know. The interconnectivity in the state, network, I mean, it's something else. So the state needs someone that is formidable, that is sellable, that have the technical skill to transform that state. And most importantly, I think either today or tomorrow, he will make a declaration for the commencement of the State House of Assembly. We saw what happened in Obaseki's time, okay, when they turned it into a nocturnal. The proclamation was not followed by many of the lawmakers that cost them their seat because the governor refused to make a second proclamation on the ground that the law says a proclamation shall be made to bring the State House of Assembly to existence.
Okay.
Now, they should watch it, those who are at the State House. Because Obaseki has just proven that you can just carry on with governance without the State House of Assembly or with just a pocket few of them.
So he has set the precedence.
Well, it's a wrong one because the lawmakers who didn't help matters. And for a very long time, just like in Rivers, we seem to have forgotten there was a serious infighting and war in that State House. Okay? But today, everything seems to have been abated. But I'm just sounding this as a caution that the State House must be well managed because they go a long way to determine lawmaking, approval of funds, projection of the state, and ultimately the performance of the governor is tied to the functionality of the State House of Assembly, which is part of the formation of governance. I expect Okpebholo to do what he ought to do. Get the right persons as commissioners, put them in strategic position, project the image of the state, I mean, develop the state, attract investors, and just push forward. That is what is required in that state as we speak.
But just like High Chief did say, do you believe in the rotational sort of exchange of baton?
Well, inclusivity should be the word. And if
Inclusivity.
rotation, yes,
Okay.
if rotation is what defines inclusivity, there's a way. You see, governance is beyond performance in terms of material performance. Governance also has to do with appeasing the psychology of the people of the state by giving them a sense of belonging. You know, when you push all appointments to one direction, you know how it affects even at the center. So if the governorship position goes round, because part of what part of why they refused Shuaibu, I mean that is his own party at that time before he left. It's now in APC, right?
Yeah.
Was the issue of where he came
Where
from.
he came from.
Yes, so which he said it was not necessary. And then the governor went against that. Even though now the governor seemed to have failed, the person who has assumed power seems to be coming from a direction where you now have inclusivity. So a good one for them. The APC played a very good politics. Even though at the beginning they were having issues where during the primaries, 3 persons were merging as and all that, but they've been able to correct that, and now they have power. So what they should do now is to make sure that they perform.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much. Hi, Chief Peter Ame. I think it's very important that we make this mention. Okpebholo said amongst the things he intends to take care of, education, healthcare, empowerment for youths in his community. And in my opening statement after the long read, I talked about appointing Dr. Cyril Adams Oshomole as the Commissioner for Health in Edo State. First off, do you think this is a gratification for what his father had done? And even if it is, does that count? He is a doctor. Does that count, really?
The son of former NLC president and current service senator for Edo North. He's also a qualified an indigenous of Edo State. He's a bona fide son of Edo State. He's a medical doctor by profession. So he met the qualification to be part of the process.
Okay.
But the issues we're asking is that will he have been selected with a short stay of experience that he had had?
Exactly.
Will he have been selected? His father is not Adam for sure. That's what we're asking. And where was he during the whole campaign processes and all that? Is he taking a place from his father's role or the authority the father has over the city role? So these are certain questions that we've asked. But to say that he's not qualified, I do not doubt his qualification, neither do I doubt his being an indigenous of the state. So, but the fact remains that we must try to understand that governance in itself should not be something that they use, to settle political discourse or use for political consideration or use for, for political and benefit to people who are, who are beholden to. Because that will undermine the promotion of the things I've talked about for so many years. And then people better qualify or better place and better experience that will do a better job than the young man that have been appointed. If they are, why should they be appointed over these same people? But in politics, they say it is the available most times that becomes the instrument of work. So, but I have said that Adams Oshomole should show example that he's not working to expand his own interest in government after having 8 years, and did not also show that was the reason why they parted ways with Obaseki, in the struggle to influence activities and get financial benefit, contract and others for in the state.
Yeah, because some other people, yes, High Chief, some people are saying that Adams Oshomole is about to own another person from his own place that might take over Edo State in the near future. Do you buy with that submission? With his son, that is.
Part of the grand plan. These people who are in government, they have lost community touch. They have lost the sense of relationship with the citizens. They want to always be in government either through their property, themselves, or their children. It is not something that I doubt. I do not doubt that. Because you see a lot of people building foundation. I have seen a man from my state who they ask, come and sponsor somebody, and say, if it's not his son, he's not ready to do one area. He was governor for a period of 9 years. So you have this situation where people, because of the lack of voter education lack of enlightened populace, electorate. These are factors that they are playing and taking advantage in and trying to entrench themselves through the back door in governance. Governance should be about the people. It should be about the interest of the people. It should be about the interest of developing the community for the betterment of the people. It shouldn't be about establish authority over power. Yes, there's power component of power of governance, but that power is meant to be used for the benefit of the people. But what I think Okpebholo is doing, that people are suspected, including me, is that he felt with the kind of what he has achieved in the state, his contribution to Obasanjo's measures, he should always have a say in the government of the state. And you see, there are a lot of things that is wrong with our governance system. Whether it is the lack of proclamation by Obasanjo to bring in the state out of assembly and on time, whether it is the lack of non-performance of governors that have held office, whether it is the interest of those who have participated in governance at higher level and trying to entrench themselves through the back door. All this can be traced through the lack of non-credible electoral system that we have. I'm telling you, if we have systems that have the ability to withstand the whole criminal enterprise that is put in place, you will find that people will sit up. Because the concept of the common man that become popular, that become loved by his people, will eventually get to power. The person who has read well, who is exposed, who have done things in little ways that people have appreciated, will get to power. And this will now break down the process, because whatever we are trying to solve, whatever we are trying to preach, and whatever advocacy or conversation we are trying to drive, let me tell you, as long as there is no credible electoral process, I said that there is no electoral process, anything that undermines the integrity of our ballot system, then undermines the integrity of our governance system. And which is a fact, and which is something that I have always held on to. Because we cannot change anything if people can drive results and bring themselves. If people can come to the governor and say, look, I wrote this result for you, so place. I brought this person to write this one for me. The governor is beholden to the people. We want governors that are beholden, legislators that are beholden to the people, that will make us for development and development of the state. And in a worst case that we have, staggered election. Right now, the House of Assembly is already in session, because the House of Assembly election was not done this time. It was done during the 2023 election. So this man is just coming in. He's going to work with the people that are there. You will find out that people will start to decamp on the parties
and where to.
Yeah. Because there's a new governor and that is in place. So these are the challenges of our system. And these are happening because people think that governors have influence over electoral processes. They can use their influence, they can use their contacts, they can use their resources to undermine the integrity of our ballot system. So these are the issues that we must start to discuss. We must start to put it at the front burner of our engagement as people who want a dream of an egalitarian society. But when I say a dream, it's almost impossible to attain egalitarianism. So these are the issues that we must put as a conversation. But Adams Oshiomhole's interest is yet to be studied by me. Because in my own case, people talk about road in Edo State. Most of the roads that it's in good damage today are federal roads. Those roads are federal roads. That does not say, oh, the government can decide to do it and try to claim the money. That is true. But most of these roads that are studied are federal roads. This is show that we must change our system. Any road within a state, let federal roads stop between state to two parts of the boundary connecting one state to the other. But any road within a state should be
handled by the state. All right.
Already have overriding interest on all lines within the state. Let's move on to the state. I think all roads are part of roads that are supposed to be well, constructed for the benefit of the people in the state.
All right. Thank you.
These are our laws that are jumping from one way to the other that is nowhere balanced. It's the cost of economic and infrastructural development.
Thank you so very much. Barrister Francis Philly, it's so very unfortunate that at this time in 2024, when other nations are thinking about conquering space, they're thinking about supersonic technologies, we're still battling with energy, common lack of electricity in Nigeria. Okpebholo talked about connecting some communities to the national grid. Now, given the reality of building power plants, the capital required to do that, do you think it's feasible for Okpebholo to maybe start thinking about building a state power for Edo State, or going by the way of transmitting or connecting communities to the national grid? Which do you think is more realistic and better?
Before I go, let me address the issue you talked about, the State House of Assembly. what I actually meant by the State House of Assembly is when they finally conduct election. Because I know there's a House of Assembly subsisting, but they are going to terminate at some point, and the governor will still be in office at that point. When they reconstitute, he will have to make proclamation. That's what I meant. Okay. So that's said. You see, there's something about Okpebholo'S 5 point. I don't like agenda, 5-point agenda. I don't like that thing.
It's cliche.
Yeah, because it's just, we've used it over and over again. We've failed consistently in it, okay? Someone says 5-point plan, someone says 5-point agenda, and all. It started with Lord Jonathan. It followed up with failure, inconsistencies, and the rest of that. So this 5-point agenda thing is worrisome. And I'm also very, very surprised, and it's worrisome, that Okpebholo would not know that the previous president, Buhari, had signed into law, this issue of power, and power has been democratized. That you don't need to drag communities that are not currently in national grid to the national grid. What you need now is to generate and distribute your own power from the state level.
But knowing the finance or the capability required in doing that, do you think 4 years is enough time for any state governor to take up that challenge?
It's enough time.
Because
the state under reference,
yes,
it's part of the Niger Delta, the states in the Niger Delta that have 13% derivation that they earn. And what have they been doing with it? They use it to do politics.
Because I remember.
So they should stop using it to do politics. No, he should talk about how to develop a power plan for Edo State.
For the future.
Yes, that's what he should be talking about. He doesn't have to complete it.
Oh, okay. Very well.
You understand? He should speak like a leader, because now they've dropped the ball on your court. So you now have authority to start up projects. So it shouldn't be thinking like a lawmaker, because there's now a transition. Now, given that transition, you now have power. You have, residual authority and current authority to undertake issues. So you need to start to do something very formidable. That is what he needs to do. So the Attorney General of the state, they should come up with a legal framework to plug into this thing and see how they can drive it. That's what I expect from him. Because this 5-point agenda thing, it's not even, the things he stated there just say security. There were no details, no projections, no strategy. I just fear that this man will not end up the way of his predecessors, because his predecessors didn't do much. The immediate one, okay. Adam Soshimolo did some job that we're able to see, we can glean on, okay. But what we have now is nothing to write home about, and I think he should come in as a solution, not as politics. He should come in as a solution. Solution will mean that he will have to jack up performance, okay, and then give the people a new lease of life. That is what is required here. He's the newest governor in the country. He should be coming with ideas. But what I heard in the way he spoke, except perhaps maybe his commissioners will direct him in the way. Well, governors don't listen to commissioners. Some commissioners cannot even see governors because of the way they go about their activity and the rest of that. So this is going to be one very big risk. You understand? His governorship is a very big risk. It's a very big risk because it could go either way. You understand? It could go either way. It could go either way due to no fault of his, but his capacity to deliver. And that is, God help the state that it turns out well. But this is very dicey.
Hi, Chief. Just before we wind down for today, Barrister said this administration, that is for Okpebholo, is a very dicey one. But this brings us to the issue, very sensitive issue of godfatherism in Nigeria. It's a cancer. It's eating so deep into our polity. It's eating so deep into politics in Nigeria. It's one of the reasons why there ain't development in Nigeria. Now, speaking to Edo State, Okpebholo, Adams, Oshomole, do we see a repeat of what Nigerians are used to, coming from Rivers State, Yeltsin Wike, and Seminalaye, Fubara, Lagos State, Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, and now we're having, speak to us on this godfatherism thing. Do you think we would ever come to a time when we won't see that rearing its ugly head again?
It's just that sometimes we just want to, people who are attempting to become godfathers have this sense of collective amnesia. You know, it has never succeeded in Nigeria. It has failed. The only place it has remained very successful is Lagos State. And like I said, people talk about sophistication of the electorate. People talk about the intelligence of the electorate. The most intelligent electorate are not even found in Lagos. Lagos is not the place to find them. They are sent to what happened in 2020. It is in the South. You find this intelligence electorate. It is the South, you don't find them in the North. And even as far as these other areas are, it has not been sustainable. You can remember the case of Okado and Theodore now. I was part of that story. So I know a lot of things. I know why they are not sustainable. Going power is given to somebody. There's a level to which you can stretch that person's authority that you will not get beaten back. And but currently, really do undermine the progressive development that we should have been talking about. Because the governor might want to now do one kind of talk about the restriction of the electricity act that has been done by that put in place since last year. And the governor will the godfather will be talking about the content just continue to manage national grid and siphon money. So I keep on talking to people about Obaseki. People have not met Obaseki before. I've not spoken to him. And I've written any letter to him. But people are not looked at the indices of the performance of what Obaseki wanted to do. You know, the digitalization of those state civil service, you know, running fiber optic cable from all of the secretariat and all the local governments, you know, trying to build a refinery so that this will add to the cost of whatever revenue generation that the state will have. You know, try to want to build all this other stuff. So if you look at all this, these are future things that it might not benefit for. And people might not see the immediate benefit of it. Because governance is a continuum. The problem we have that our governors are not performing, apart from godfatherism, is the fact that there's this expectation that we have to do this right now so that they can put our name that we constructed 65 kilometers of road, 10 kilometers of road. So people see road infrastructure as the major thing to do in governance. We are not saying that as soon as we expand the level of resources that the IGR that you get, you have more money to do road, you have more money to do other things, and connect communities to communities. So godfatherism is a major issue, but this major issue has become a problem, a cancer to our collective development. Why? Because they influence and interfere in the smooth running of the electoral process in the state and governance process in the state. But all these are still tied to one issue. A godfather cannot be godfather. Obama was the former president. There's a sitting president in America. They all worked for Iris, doing everything. Obama ran from pulling good to pulling, explaining to people. He even made a statement about black people that went viral and became a problem to the Iris campaign. So why? Because people have confidence that the electoral system will deliver. People have confidence that the judicial system in the state will deliver. So when we have an electoral system that is competent, that can withstand the aggressiveness of this electoral monopolists, and that can withstand the aggressiveness of these electoral bandits, then you will have an opportunity to now determine the cost of our progressive development. Because without this electoral process, that will tell you know the reason why those who brought our constitution, you know, found it in their wisdom to talk about multi-party democratic system in section 223 to 229, on how party management is formed, how party is run, and how the tenures of their organs are supposed to operate within the 4 years and it's enable term of 4 years. You know why they did that? So that when you are in a party like APC, PDP, Labour, and there are too many powers and you can't get way, you know in your community that you are very popular, people love you. You go to any of the parties, other parties that will not give you stress, that will give you opportunity to run, and then you run on the platform and win. I've seen this situation in my lifetime, in a Bayelsa, in a Boeing. There's a girl, I call her African chief. She came to my office and she said she's very popular, but they're not giving her to get her. Are you sure? She said the party is not. I gave her a signature. She called me when I was on my way home that she had won. Maria Fico in 2011 and 2015. So there are situations like this that I've seen in my lifetime. But for this multiplicity of parties to flourish, for democratic system and integrity of our electoral governance to be sustainable, we must have an electoral system that is one man, one vote, and that can withstand the integrity of whatever aggressive rigging machine that will be brought up against it by these oligarchs who have been in power, who are always looking for a way to establish their foothold is outside power. Then it is the only best way that we can achieve that, by having an electoral integrity system that stands and can respect the wishes and aspirations of our people through the ballot box.
All right.
So these are the things I have said that can only kill federalism. Nothing else can kill it, because there are so much resources at their disposal. They are united from north to west to south. They can mobilize resources from north to west to south. As soon as we take this major party's ticket today, they are all the business conglomerates, all the politicians of high repute. We send in money so that you can win, so that they can come. Even if just to have a friend and say they can drive to the government house, people are willing to put 300 million naira, 400 million naira into the campaign. So these are the challenges. One, our campaign finance law does not work. You don't know how much is of the government spend. As like this election that passed in the US today, for all the House of Reps seats, for all the Congress seats, for the presidential, all the presidential candidates that ran, and all the mayor and all the money that is spent is already in public domain. It's $15.9 billion. And the Harris campaign spent $1 billion. So these are in public domain already. You don't have to wait. It comes out after the day of election, how much that is spent. So we cannot monitor us. We can't determine how much the governor has spent, how much he has put in the hands of people. And this is their money that they are spending. Don't forget, we need to differentiate it. It is not money for the boys. It is not money for Tom. It is not money for break his head money. It is not money to block the road. It is not money to burn cars. It is not money to kill people. It is money that is meant for logistics. Media. Media takes most of the money.
Exactly.
And endorsement. Their monies are recorded. That much we give, whatever owner will be recorded. But it's not the same case in Nigeria. When we fix our electoral system, fix our campaign financing laws, then you will now start to see some level of credibility, creeping its way into our governance system.
All right, thank you so very much, Barrister Francis Fairley. In the next 60 seconds, if you may, while we, of course, hope that our electoral system will be fixed, you love art, you love history, and so on. Amongst the things Okpebholo said he would ensure comes to pass is looted artifacts. Right, he ensured that he would make it important that most of them come back to Benin, as it were. Do you think this is necessary at this time?
Necessary.
How necessary is that?
Necessary. See, when the colonial masters came, they were they were surprised at the level of artifact and the deposit of art we have in Africa, in Nigeria and in the Benin Kingdom, to be specific. They were so surprised. They tried to communicate with some of these art, and there were communications. They tried to test some of them with cosmic energy, and there were response. So you know what they did? They load this thing and use force to take them out of the country. And they are found all over the world. You understand? You go to Berlin, go to most countries in Europe, in the UK. You go to the museums, you find them. You find some of our artifacts there. They were not purchased. They were stolen. So it's not theirs. It's ours. So part of, I think, someone raised it at the UN General Session some time ago. It was 3-4 years ago, thereabouts. And the UN took a decision on it. And had asked these countries to return it. The United Nations. To return whatsoever they've taken away. Because this...
At their discretion, isn't it?
No, to return it. They're giving them opportunity to return it. Okay? So where we have these things all over the world, we'll have to go get them back. I think part of his plan should be that everywhere this artifact are cited, we should go there and institute a proceeding, a case against the government or the museum and all that, where we have all these artifacts.
Yes.
To get an order of court, yes.
Because the reason I'm actually smiling to all of this is, I remember late Queen Elizabeth, her crown.
Yeah.
South Africa has stated that all of those makeup were as a result of their minds.
Yeah.
Right? And it's practically impossible to have that returned to South Africa. So let's speak to diplomacy in all of this. How is it possible?
But that of South Africa is different. When we say it's your mind, I mean, it's been turned to, it's been it's been refined and it's been turned to different things. You can't really lay identity to it. Okay, this one they still carry the names of some of the deities that those artifacts represent. You understand? And now these artifacts are over there in these foreign countries, and the deities are wandering here. You understand? So they should bring it back so that the deities can come back home and house those artifacts.
Wow.
They have spiritual implications. And these spiritual implications, you cannot render the people's tradition and culture homeless, including their deities. We should not project that the deities should go and fight for themselves, because deities will fight through humans. So let the humans who are available go get those things back, bring them back, so that the deities can come back home. Perhaps. Maybe that is why there's no formidable progress. Yes, and there's no formidable progress and peace in some part of the country. So we need to get them back. It's very important.
All right, I think we need to get our spirits back wherever they are, in UK, in London, wherever it is. You know, our spirits should come back home, so Edo State can at least get the needed development they want. All right, that's just about the size of our package today. I'd love to say thank you to you, High Chief Peter Ame, for being part of our show. We truly do appreciate you and enjoyed your discussion. Thank you so very much,
My
sir.
pleasure. Next time I will join Barista because of that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Masiveli. Thank you as always.
It's a
We
pleasure.
truly do appreciate you. Yes. And you've watched, you've streamed. We truly do appreciate you. But please do well to visit us for these and more. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.